all intents and purposes, your last full airing of that this day only. Adam and Tina have that great year-end special coming up at 9 o'clock, and I know Mike will be making an appearance with Adam at 10 p.m., but this is the last big coin show for today on a day that we look forward to coin collecting with, of course, the inimitable Mike Mizak. But as we move along, all right, Mike, we are back into Silver Eagle category. Holy moly, what are you doing here?
Well, I'm going back to last year because if I'm going to sell a Proof American Silver Eagle, my only choice is to go back into last year because the United States government was supposed to normally, on today, one of our biggest sellers is the brand new Proof American Gold Eagle. We usually sell literally, thousands of those. I think we usually have 2,000 or 3,000 in the first day of issue, and they sell out just like that, the W Mint, in the first day of issue. Well, last week, the United States Mint pulled the rug right out from under us, okay, and decided that we were not going to do that, okay? They pulled them off the schedule because they can't keep up with the demand on the regular mint state coin. It's why they released the SMint mint state coin to go with that. So there'll be no Proof Silver Eagles that we know of for the foreseeable future, hopefully in February, maybe in March, who knows? I mean, they'll let us know when they let us know. It's not like we have any foresight or they have any forethought with that. But people want Proof Silver Eagles. Well, I have a very few of the San Francisco minted Proof Silver Eagles from last year. Now, keep in mind, the fact that I have them, the United States Mint is sold out of those coins. Okay? The United States Mint has sold out of those coins. So that's important for you to understand, that there are no more SMint coins. These are the certified coins that are mint state, or I'm sorry, Proof 70. And what happened was they released the West Point minted Proof American Silver Eagles very early in the year. Okay? They released those very early in the year. They sold out almost immediately, and this was like pre-COVID too. And then once COVID hit, I mean, they're shut down the San Francisco Mint, the West Point Mint. They were sold out for 8 months. At the end of the year, they came back and released a few more coins. They sold out again instantly. Those are the West Point minted coins. And then very much at the end of the year, they did a very small mintage, 200,000 coins, which is nothing. I mean, they have special issue coins with higher mintages than that. They did 200,000 of the 2020 SMint Proof coins and released those. Of course, they sold out instantly. I have a few of these that I held over from last year, and I held my price. That's very important, given the fact that the Mint has raised their price on all their silver coins. So the Mint's response to not being able to make enough coins was to basically take all their coin prices and raise them 30 to 50%. They said, if we can't make them, we're going to charge more for them. So what they did is they had massive price increases across the board. This is the same price we had last year. So there's no price increase in this. This is from the original issue price that we had of the Mint State, or of the Proof San Francisco. Don't confuse it with the West Point Mint. This was the release at the very end of the year, the rarest Proof Silver Eagle. This is the rarest eagle that the government was going to make in 2020, and we've got it right here, right now.
Well, and of course, as always, on an on-demand opportunity with limited reservations for sure, and that unconditional money-back guarantee of 30 days, flex pay of $74.98. And Mike, there are so many things that you do that are distinctive and different. I mean, I always look to see what you do with the core. I always look to see what you do in terms of the overall presentation. And this is another one. When we talk about that Silver Eagle story that, that has unfolded over 2020, it's amazing to me that, hey, when the government is raising their prices, not Mike Mizak, not Mike Mizak.
Well, sometimes we're forced to, but in this case we weren't, so we're not gonna.
Yeah. Absolutely. And, and that's why I made that comment earlier about how Mike really does curate these shows. He hand selects, he curates everything that you'll see in any coin collector show. So I think that's important that you understand he really does think of you. He thinks of you whether you're a first-time customer here at HSN or a first-time customer in the coin collector, or you're an avid collector. And I think that's one of the reasons when we do, say, the family of Eagles, or when we do some of those larger ticket items, that you'll see a lot of multiple purchases, because we trust Mike, we rely on Mike, we certainly rely and learn from his expertise, but this is a really terrific opportunity for you to jump in, get this, and grab The last of this, I know I keep saying historic, but this momentous year for sure at $74.98, right, Mike?
Yeah, I think absolutely no doubt about that, because it sold out from last year. I don't know when I'm going to be able to sell it for silver eagle from this year. So then why not buy the rarest proof silver eagle, actually the rarest regular issue silver eagle from last year from the United States government? Why not buy that? I've got a very few of these still remaining. Like I said, in the San Francisco Bridge Corps, 100% exclusive to us. Well, it's something I really, really like the opportunity on this. I have a very few of these remaining. I'm glad I saved them, and I'm glad I've been able to hold the price.
Well, I think we all are. And of course, 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Hey, we've only got about 40 minutes left in the show. Remember, Adam and Tina are coming up with their great